Hey there, good morning. I'm sorry if the audio isn't ideal today. I hope you can still hear me with the mic. But if this workout doesn't work out in this format, please let me know and I can find a different location to use the only piece of equipment we're going to need today, which is a chair. And we're going to use this so we can sit on it and put our feet on it. If you don't have a chair nearby, a bench, a sofa, that kind of vibe, but ideally you want something that's around hip height, so a dining chair would be ideal, depending on the size of your dining chairs. Anyways, so today is all about lower body. It's about single leg stability. We're going to do a little bit more of this in yoga later on in the week, but today is the start of it. So let's actually just start off with some leg mobility. Come to seated, and I want us to take the 90-90 position. So what that looks like is your front leg and back leg look like right angles. So when you look down, your ankle, your knee and your hip should be in one line, and then the same for the back leg. However, a lot of people can't sit in this without maybe a knee lifting up or a butt cheek lifting up. So what we're gonna do, if that's you, is you're just gonna tuck the back leg in a little bit closer and then tuck the back knee closer to the front leg. All right, we're just gonna do some wipers. So when we're here, we can take the hands behind us. You're gonna lift both knees up towards the ceiling, and then you're just gonna drop the legs. All right, we're just waking up the hips, a little bit of hip mobility. And then from there, making sure you've got your mat underneath your knees so that you've got a little bit of cushion. I'm gonna bring my knee close to the arch of my front foot. I'm gonna sit on my sit bones and I'm just gonna go for a couple of lifts. So I'm gonna lift up, I'm gonna push my hips forwards, and then I'm gonna sit down. So I'll show you what that looks like from here. I'm gonna lift up, and then I'm gonna sit down. So when we do this, try not to use the arms for momentum. If it's the first time you're doing this, if you've never trained with me in person before, you might find it a little bit difficult. What you should feel is like the hip joints, maybe the glutes are working. We're just gonna do 2 more. And if you can, I want you to try not to use the hands to get off the floor. Really use your hips, the drive from your hips. Good, and then we're just gonna swap sides. Right goes behind, left goes in front. We're gonna exhale as we come up. And then I also now want you to tune into the pelvic floor and think about lifting through the pelvic floor as we come up. We're just gonna do 5 more. Beautiful stuff. 4, 3, good, last 2. I also would love feedback if I'm shouting into the microphone. I'm so used to teaching in a class setting, I always project my voice and forget about the mic. Alrighty, from there, now we're gonna go into fold. So I'm gonna take my right foot, gonna place it back, left goes behind. And then what we're trying to do is we're gonna line our body up with the shin. So that's from the knee to the ankle. I'm gonna take my hands, place them in front, and then we're gonna try and fold forwards with a flat back. And then we're gonna tuck and round and come up with a rounded spine. So we're basically just trying to maximize the warm up. Come down with a flat back as far as you can go, and then tuck and curl and try and round your spine as much as possible. Good, one last one. Brilliant stuff. Now I'm gonna turn my sternum towards the knee. So now I'm going off to the corner of the room. Same thing. So fingertips on the floor, flat spine as we come down. Try and tuck and curl and round. And so what you'll feel is you'll probably feel it in a different area of the back. You might feel it in a different area of the hips and the glutes. And everyone will be a little bit more flexible or tight in a different direction. Good. And then last one, now you're going to shift your body, turn it all the way around. So now your sternum is going to try and face the thigh. So same thing, flat back and then rounded to come up. And everyone's flexible in a different area. You're hopefully in the comfort of your own home and you don't have to compare yourself to anyone. Good stuff. Okay, and then we're going to swap sides. The left goes in front, right goes behind. Shin, we're going to fold forward to the flat back and then tuck and round with a rounded back. And then I also just wanted to talk about our weekly habit while we're warming up. Water. So remember, it's really important to drink a lot of water. You are 80% water. If you are currently breastfeeding, oops, sorry. If you are currently breastfeeding, also water. It's a lot of water. So most of us are walking around dehydrated. And once we start drinking a little bit more water, we just find that the body starts to flush. I don't want to say it flushes a lot of toxins, but our liver needs water to process. Our kidneys needs water to process. Good. Okay, and then last one, thigh. Good. 2. Final one. Brilliant. Okay, grab your chair. We're going to start off with my favorite exercise for single leg stability. It's also the worst exercise. It's called a single leg sit to stand. So it looks like this. You're going to sit, and I'm going to show you the 3 options. Option number 1, most challenging option, the full option, is we take a foot off the floor. You're going to you're going to take a foot off the floor. You're going to step up, and then you're going to sit down with control. No plopping. All right, and we're gonna do it all on one leg, and then we're gonna swap and do it all on the other leg for the second minute of the workout. If you're struggling to get off the chair without the use of your arms, what we're then going to do is you can try and come up with a toe on the floor. So the other leg's gonna support you, but most of the weight is in this back heel. So we're gonna drive up and then see if you can come down without that foot on the floor. If you come up and you need the foot to support you, also fine. The other option is you can come up with 2 feet flat on the floor so you have the most support, and then try and shift the weight into that one foot and then come down. Or similarly, you can have both feet there, toe, control down. Okay, that's the hardest part of today. Let's just get into it. Okay, off we go. So we're gonna be doing this for a minute, and the way I normally do it is I actually would say, right, start with the easiest option first and then go to the harder one. But because we are only working out for 8 minutes today, what I want us to do is try the hardest version, and then maybe your pace is just a little bit slower. I'm not the most stable, sorry. And then 20 seconds left. And then when you see your form start to break down, then go to the easier option. All right, so this is knee strengthening. This is single leg stability. Whoop. Good. All right, we're gonna swap sides. Left side, off we go. Driving up and then controlling down. And then remember, it's just really important to listen to your body and where it is today. If one of your goals is to start running again, then ideally we want you to be able to do 25 of these. And it's more about firing the glutes as you come up to stand. And then I want you to stand upright rather than being here, coming up and staying here. So we want to try and be as upright as possible. Good stuff. All right, 20 seconds left. We are only doing this twice through. So I really urge you to push yourself today, but it's also only day 2. So feel free to ease yourself into the workouts. They're actually going to get a little bit easier this week. We've got yoga, rest. Okay, now we're going to go into a reverse lunge, and we're just going to alternate. So I'm taking our knees in the opposite direction. So when we reverse lunge, I want your feet in a nice parallel position, not a crisscross, not too wide. Okie dokie, off we go. So I'm just gonna lunge backwards, and then I'm gonna come forwards. So for some people, this might be a little bit too challenging. Maybe the stability is off. You can use the back of your dining chair as a support, so you can come down and then swap legs. Or alternatively, you don't have to come so low. So you can be here and then just work on that quad flexibility. All right, I've talked too much. Let's go. 1 minute. Off we go. Alternating reverse lunges. So when we lunge forwards, we, as in take a step forwards, we use more of our quads, and then we need more stability as we come back. I find that one to be more challenging for beginners. So that's why I've taken us to the reverse lunge. It's a little bit more accessible, and it gives you a nice butt. And I want to have a nice butt. In our family, we call them fluts, like a flat butt. And I used to bully my mom and my sister when I was a teenager for having fluts. And then I became a mom. And then I got a flut. But it's more than aesthetics. Like, your glutes are the powerhouse of the body. They connect your lower back and your lower limbs together. So last 3, 2, 1. All right, and then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lie on our back, and then we are going to do a foot elevated glute bridge. So if placing your feet on the chair is too much, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna try and hold a glute bridge here. You're going to keep pressing into the knees. Make sure that your knees are pointing forwards, not inwards, and not outwards, okay? Just in line with the hips, lifting the hips. But what we don't want to see is that you end up arching through the spine and that your belly starts to dome out. I want you to keep your rib cage down and then your hips lifted. Alrighty? If that feels really easy, we're gonna take our feet to the chair and then we're gonna press up. So if your chair is like freestanding in your room, make sure that you pop it against something so that it doesn't slide away. Alrighty, we're gonna try and hold for a minute. 3, 2, 1. Lifting the hips, exhale. And then just go as high as you can go. So if I go a little bit higher, then what you see is that my back starts to arch. So I'm just gonna tuck my pelvis and maybe just come a little bit lower. But the focus here is on stability, on core, on your glutes. I want you to think about squeezing your butt cheeks. I want you to think about driving into those heels, lifting them as high, lifting your hips as high as you can go with your body. And then really focusing on the burn of the hamstrings. Try to keep the hands off of the floor so you're not pressing into the floor. And apologies, I have a little cold and I've got like misophonia. I don't like mouth sounds and nose sounds and eating sounds. So I'm sorry if I have a couple of sniffles. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1, rest. Curl the spine to come down. Wiggle the knees from side to side. All right, we're going back to the beginning. So we're gonna do your single leg sit to stands. This is the last time we do this today. So well done. 8 minutes of work, and I hope you feel the burn. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So I'm gonna start with my bad side this time, actually, my left side. And then I went really fast the first round and worked on the cardio, but was a little unstable. So I'm gonna focus more on the stability, trying to get a really nice clean rep and lots of control as we come down. Good. So if you find that you are really wibbly wobbly, this is quite a challenging exercise. So I'd really recommend doing the 2 feet, controlling as you come back down. What we call that is eccentric loading. We're loading the muscle in the easier portion. Woo! Alrighty, last 15 seconds. Let's try and get 3 really solid reps. Control as we come down, and then drive up. Control, and then drive up, and then control. Nice. All right, we're gonna swap legs, go straight into the other leg. Driving up, and then controlling down. Driving up, controlling down. Driving up. Yes, good. So what can also happen is that because our muscles might have been asleep a little bit over our pregnancies, maybe we just haven't been using them as much, whatever stage you are in life. Oh, and now I've lost my train of thought, baby brain. Okay, well, if it comes back, it comes back, but it probably won't in the next 20 seconds. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. You will end up getting really good at this exercise really quickly, but what I don't want you to do is have an overuse injury. All right, so I want you to take your own pace, take your time. You're doing really great. It's hard to get down on yourself when you can't do something. And I've challenged you, rest. I've made that particular exercise quite challenging. But it's a nice goal that hopefully by the end of the 90 days, you are going to be able to do something that looks more like it. Okie dokie, reverse lunges. Off we go. So now what I want us to do, as we come back, we're gonna raise the arms, okay? So we're gonna draw the arms up and forwards, and then we're gonna come back. So this challenges stability a little bit more. It challenges your core. But if you're bringing your arms up and you're wobbling all over the place, hands go back to the hips and you focus on stability. Or if you're doing this and your elbows are bent and they're not really up, don't bother doing it. We want to see nice, really straight arms. We've got 10 seconds left. This is a nice big inhale as you come back so you get stretched through the side of the body. I want you to focus on keeping that core nice and tight. Beautiful. 3, 2, 1. All right, yeah. We're gonna do our hold, and then you're done. Well done. All righty. Here we go. Okay. Feet in position. Choose your option. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. We're gonna lift the hips as high as we can for our hold. And then focus on keeping that breathing really nice and controlled. So what can tend to happen after we've just done a cardiovascular exercise is that you're breathing and the belly is rising a lot. What I want us to think about is more about breathing through the rib cage, really wide, and then drawing the belly back in. Lifting the hips, squeezing the glutes, keeping the ribs and the hips together. We've got 30 seconds left. If you're struggling to hold, feel free to go back down and then jump back in. No stress, no ego. Last 15 seconds. 10 seconds. You're doing great. And curl the spine to come down. All right. Well done. You did your first lower body day. I'll see you again tomorrow.